Hello, welcome to the channel, and since Matthew Santoro stopped making 50 amazing facts, one of my favourite videos I always used to look forward to, I requested permission to continue the series with number 150, and got no reply, which is fine. He's a busy guy.
Just do it!
Alright.
Nothing is impossible!
I never said it was impossible, I just wanted permission first. Well, in honour of Matthew Santoro and, well, October, I thought we'd get started with 50 amazing facts to blow your mind, horror edition. Scaphism was a form of ancient torture where the victim would be covered all over with honey and then ants would be set upon them, amongst other insects. One chicken, called Mike, the headless chicken, managed to stay alive for 18 months after his head was cut off. A rat king is not a king that's a rat. It's actually a rare sight to see where rats have tangled up their tails and become interlocked. A recent study by the University of Westminster suggests that watching horror movies is actually beneficial to your mental and physical health. Hippopotamonstrous sesquippedaliophobia is the fear of big words. Ironic, isn't it? There is a popular forest in Japan called Oakigahara Forest, which I can't really pronounce very well, so I'll go by its more popular name, Suicide Forest. In 2010, more than 200 people attempted the act, and 54 of them were successful. The Bermuda Triangle is a very commonly known place where ships and planes have technical issues or just outright disappear. While there's another place off the coast of Japan that does the exact same thing, called the Devil's Triangle. Although many may assume because of the film's Jaws that sharks are a very dangerous predator, they're actually not our biggest living threat, which is mosquitoes. Mosquitoes kill around 725,000 people every year. Fear can actually kill you, although it's unlikely to a healthy person. People with a heart condition and some other conditions could actually be scared to death. Zombification is actually a real process, which is a part of a ritual of voodoo magic, making use of the pufferfish toxin, fugu, to slow the heart down to such a rate which people can be declared dead, and then they are buried, which the voodoo priest will later come along and resurrect them with a cure, but they will never be the same again, living as a brain-dead slave. UVB-76, or the buzzer, is a radio transmission which has been sending the same signal since 1982. But it's a complete mystery as to where it is coming from, or even why. Cone snails are a predator that actually uses a harpoon strategy to deliver toxin to its prey. Some of the larger cone snails have a powerful enough toxin to kill a human. A Russian doctor attempted to remove a tumour from a man's lung. However, it turned out not to be a tumour, but actually a fir tree growing 2 inches in length inside of him, which just proves that fir trees are a very resilient species. Chrysalopia is a snake that learned to glide by flattening its organs and ribs so that it could glide through the air. It evolved this trait so that it could hunt a lizard, which evolved to have wings with its elongated ribs. Oscar the therapy cat lives in a rehabilitation and nursing centre where he looks after people with dementia, keeping them company. However, if Oscar came to you, you might be more scared than happy, because Oscar seems to only go to the people that are closest to death. This is a Japanese giant hornet, and its venom is so toxic that it can melt human flesh. On average, mobile phones have more bacteria on them than a public toilet. A human head remains conscious for about 20 seconds after being decapitated. The skin around your fingernails and toenails contract after death, which is where the common misconception comes that your nails grow when you die, which even made it into the Resident Evil film. If you have a cat and you die, he is going to want to eat you. Kinda makes you question the intentions of Oscar the therapy cat now, doesn't it? More than 7,000 people die every year due to a doctor's bad handwriting. After about 3 days of death, the enzyme in your digestive tract will start to consume you. When you die, the last sense that you lose is your hearing. The average person sheds 40 pounds of skin in one lifetime. It's just skin, Stephen. Sudden arrhythmic death syndrome is an event where someone who is seemingly healthy dies for no apparent reason or cause of death. Dogs like squeaky toys because they mimic the screams of their prey. The air you breathe in a train station is about 15% human skin. According to the database of convicted people, there have been over 150 wrongful executions of innocent people. When the Aztecs did a human sacrifice, the victim would be placed on a sacrificial stone and a priest would slice them open with an obsidian or flint blade, and their heart, while still beating, would be ripped out, held up towards the sky to honour the sun god. Botflies are a common type of fly whose larvae buries under the skin. There are around 6 to 7 million bodies lining the walls and ceilings of the Paris catacombs, and that number is likely still increasing because murderers are likely to hide bodies down there. There are about 40 supervolcanoes around the world capable of claiming 1 billion lives, which is scary because we're 24,000 years overdue for an eruption. There are over 200 dead bodies on top of Mount Everest because retrieving them is too much of a risk, but these bodies actually serve as markers for current hikers who are trying to reach the summit themselves. The Battle of Los Angeles was a real event. It's also known as the Great Los Angeles Air Raid. The Battle of Los Angeles was a real event, also known as the Great Los Angeles Air Raid. It was thought to be an attack by Japanese aircraft, so in response they defended themselves by firing a barrage of anti-aircraft artillery into the sky at the clearly visible targets. When the smoke cleared, there was no targets left to be seen, but they also found nothing of the aircraft either. And even today, Japan has never admitted to launching an attack on that day, which has led many to believe that the attack had an otherworldly origin. In the Czech Republic, there is a church called the Sádek Ossuary, which is actually decorated with human bones. Scientists have been on the search for another planet in our solar system because of an extra gravitational force that is unexplained. This could just be another large gas giant. However, it's theorized that it might be a brown dwarf star, which are very dim and hard to detect. But if that's true, it could also be blamed for many extinctions throughout Earth's history, and it might be coming back for its next orbit. The film Child's Play, which terrifies me, is made worse by the fact that it's actually inspired by a true story of a boy who received a doll called Robert the Doll. He's currently in East Metello's museum, surrounded by letters of people wishing him to stop harassing them. The snakes on Snake Island had to develop a powerful venom because they hunt birds, and it's hard to track their prey once they fly away. So, their venom has to kill their prey quickly, and it is also so powerful that it can melt human skin as well. When threatened, female chicks will respond by vomiting a sticky orange glue at the predator. These predators then go to try and wash themselves off with the glue, only to drown because they can't swim whilst washing it off. So those chicks are murderers. 20% of children report hearing voices that aren't there. Suicide Bridge is a bridge in Scotland which lives up to its name, but for dogs. Dogs will unexpectedly leap to their death off of the bridge for no reason. This is an anglerfish. The ones you may be familiar with anyway, which are all female, and I'm sure they have a beautiful personality. But the males of the species are actually a parasite, which when they're ready, they will swim off to find a female, and they will latch onto them. And as the female continues to grow, their body will completely engulf the male, basically making them one organism. The observer effect is where certain particles will act differently if they're being observed or not. Using the double slit experiment, they've noticed that photons will act like a wave if they're not being detected. But if you try and detect which slit they go through, then they'll start acting like a particle, which is weird. It's kind of just like a game that only renders in what we're looking at. Are we living in a simulation? If the sun was to explode right now, we wouldn't know about it for another 8 minutes because of the speed of light, which is the universal speed limit for everything, including gravitational waves. There is a 1 in 3 chance that the police will never identify your killer if you are murdered in the US. You have more foreign cells in your digestive tract than you actually have human cells in your body. Oumuamua was a comet-like asteroid that came from another solar system, and it passed close to Earth. What's scary about it is that it travelled so fast that NASA didn't discover it until after it had passed Earth. The FDA actually permits an acceptable level of rat poop in your food, such as wheat and popcorn. You spend about 10% of your awake time blinking, and you also spend 1/3 of your life asleep, so it sounds like a lot of wasted time. However, lack of sleep can actually start causing hallucinations and can be really damaging to your health. Gamma ray bursts are beams of supercharged particles released from a star when it goes supernova. If a gamma ray burst was directed towards Earth, it would destroy us down to our DNA. We wouldn't even see it coming, and we wouldn't even know that it hit us. Well, there's your dose of 50 amazing horror facts, and if you're familiar with Matthew Santoro's videos, then I do hope this lived up to expectations. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time with another video. Goodbye!